Good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. Wow. The news today, quite a bit of it, and it was concerning. And I'm just gonna be straight out about it. It's very concerning. Biden spoke today. I'm sure you are aware. And the language that he used really struck me because don't make any mistake about it. Regardless of your views on Biden, what level puppet you think he is, or whatever you think, he's reading from a script, a teleprompter. And so each and every word that he reads is carefully constructed. And so when people like that speak, it's very important to pay attention to what they say. Now, sometimes they do speak off the cuff, especially when asked questions. But Biden made sure today to not completely rule out lockdowns. So I don't want to try to quote him because I don't remember it verbatim. I do have some articles up. I honestly don't know if that particular quote is in one of them or not. I watched it as it was live because I have no life, and I'm telling you, the entire thing was concerning. And then Fauci got up and spoke, and I'm telling you, I think they're going to really use this to their fullest, extent that they can, to garner more control and to further not only divide the American people, but also to demonetize the American people, if that makes sense to you. Because that is essentially, how they're going to gain that complete control is by making it to where you have to rely on them for your very basic needs. See, as long as you can get your basic needs taken care of elsewhere, then, there's a chance that you may try. But if they make that increasingly hard and make it beneficial for you to toe the line, and I'm speaking to the choir here because I'm sure many of you aren't going to do that. It's sad though the amount of people that will. And many of the people that will do so simply because they don't see it coming. They are totally unaware of what's coming, which is why it's important that we speak out, that we speak up, that we talk about this, even to people that we may not normally talk about it with. People are waking up in large numbers, and there are a lot of people, I think, that have started to stir, so to speak, but they may not have anybody in their circles that they can really discuss this stuff with, bounce this stuff off, and so just having that open invitation, so to speak. Hey, I know if there's people out there that, back in the day or something, maybe still today, like to partake in a green leafy vegetable substance. It was kind of the deal to, if you suspected somebody, you would say something in order to get them to respond if they did the same thing. You can do the same thing when it comes to the stuff that's going on and how people feel about it. You can, Let's Go Brandon was an incredible thing. It truly was, because I think out of everything, that is what what most what was most done with the whole Let's Go Brandon thing is I think that so many people started saying it, and I think so many people that normally don't voice opinions were saying it because it was something that was benign, it was something that was innocent, and at the same time wasn't. You know what I mean? It was a way for people trying to be innocent, or at least, good people, a way for them to say their thoughts without actually saying it. And I think that's why it became so popular so fast. So get out there and have those conversations with people, because you never know how you might be able to help somebody survive. And, you may have tidbits of information. You may, be aware of things, or they may have questions, they may have needs that you have answers for. So get out there and talk to people. I do have some articles up here. Let me have a sip of coffee. Let me cough real quick. Okay, and have a sip of coffee. All right, I do have some articles up here that I was going to go over with you. I thought I had one up on Biden speaking. Did I not open that one? Okay, stand by and let me, oops, I don't want to do that. Dang it, man. All right, I didn't screw myself up too bad. One moment. Duplicate. All right, let me find this. I know what the headline looks like, so, or the picture. Oh wait, maybe not. Maybe that was it. Okay, got it. So we'll start out with this one. So professional, I know. No, I just, I guess I neglected to bring this one up. I thought I did. Here's the article from RT, and it says Biden reveals what new normal will be. It says here there won't be a new lockdown if everyone gets vaccinated, and good, it says it. There won't be a new lockdown if everyone gets vaccinated and takes booster shots and masks up indoors, U.S. President Joe Biden said in response to questions about his plans to deal with the Omicron. What are they saying it? I forget how they're pronouncing it. I think Omicron is wrong, though. Anyway, I'll call it Omicron just to get under everybody's skin. Strain of COVID-19. Speaking to reporters at the White House on Monday, Biden said the best protection against this variant or any of the variants out there, ones we've been dealing with already, is getting fully vaccinated and getting a booster shot. Like I say, King Biden and Queen Fauci spoke today. Asked about the possibility of a lockdown, the U.S. president said there's no need for one, but cautioned that his administration is still reviewing the data about the latest variant of concern. He said there won't be a new lockdown, but a push for more widespread vaccinations, boosters, testing, and more. Can you imagine how they could possibly push for more vaccinations? I mean, a detailed strategy will be announced on Thursday, so we'll have to pay attention to that. Quotes here. I expect the new normal to be everyone ends up getting vaccinated and the booster shot, so we reduce the number of people who aren't protected to such a low degree that we're not seeing the spread of these viruses, he told reporters. People who are fully vaccinated can celebrate the holidays much more safely than where we were last year, Biden said, adding that that's a blessing none of us should take for granted. Now, remember, I can't tell you, we can't talk about things like efficacy here. You know that. But otherwise, we'd be talking about things like efficacy. Let's see. He also urged Americans to wear your masks when you're indoors in public settings around other people to protect you, to protect those around you. Biden's ban on travel from Botswana, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Lesotho, Eswatini, Mozambique, and Malawi, and South Africa, imposed in response to the Omicron variant's appearance in that region, went into effect on Monday morning. As of Monday, just over 59% of the total U.S. population has been fully vaccinated, and 21% of those have received a booster jab as well. The U.S. has registered almost 777,000 deaths from COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic, 384,000 of them since Biden was sworn into office. So, let me get rid of the one. I do think that, without a doubt, lockdowns are back on the table. I know at one time I said it, I kind of thought it looked doubtful, but that was like, I literally said that like a day or two before Omicron. And considering that, a little bit changed since then, so we'll definitely keep an eye on it. There are others out there in the in this realm, like the WHO and stuff like that, that's pleading and begging that countries don't shut their borders down, that they don't overreact, and nobody's listening. You got a lot of countries that are running around flailing their arms and acting like scared tin pot dictators. So, and ours isn't much different than that. So it's hard to say what's going to happen here. Moving on this topic, because we've got two main topics that I've got open here, and of course that's going to be this virus crap and war. So lovely, huh? CDC expands COVID-19 booster advice amid Omicron scare. This says the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has encouraged all American adults to get a booster shot of the COVID-19 vaccine, citing the increased transmissibility of the Omicron variant of the virus. Pardon me. Everyone ages 18 and older should get a booster shot either when they are 6 months after their initial Pfizer or Moderna series or 2 months after their initial J&J vaccine, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said in a statement on Monday. Citing early data from South Africa, the variant was first identified earlier this month. Walensky pointed out that the newly detected strain appears to be more contagious and noted that its discovery prompted a review of vaccine effectiveness in the U.S. and around the world. Let's see. And everything else is pretty much information you already know. So no need to sit there and go back over it. So, as you know or may know, there has been a deal where a judge has halted, and I guess we could go ahead and go to that next. Judge halts Biden vaccination mandate in 10 states. So as it says here, a federal judge in Missouri has blocked U.S. President Joe Biden's vaccine mandate for healthcare workers in 10 states, saying that it would need approval from Congress, which it does not have. U.S. District Court Judge Matthew Scalp issued a preliminary injunction on Monday, blocking the White House's order that all workers employed by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services had to be vaccinated by January 4, 2022, or face losing their jobs. The nature and breadth of the CMS mandate requires clear authorization from Congress, and Congress has provided none, Schelp said, adding the injunction is warranted by the vast economic and political significance of the mandate. Monday's ruling means that Missouri, Nebraska, Arkansas, Kansas, Iowa, Wyoming, Alaska, South Dakota, North Dakota, and New Hampshire will not be subject to the mandate, while the injunction stands. The White House has the option to appeal it before the Eighth Circuit. There are 3 more lawsuits against the CMS vaccination mandate involving more than half of the U.S. states. The White House says 96% of federal employees are compliant with Biden's vaccine mandate, and there are no plans to extend the deadline to vaccinate or get fired. However, the attempt to impose a mandate on private businesses with 100 or more employees was blocked by the Fifth Circuit Court earlier this month. So that's where that is standing at. So let me have a sip of coffee here. Sorry, that turned into like 4 sips of coffee. Oh, I thought I had you guys on WebView. I'm sorry. So, I got lost in my train of thought there. I'm pulling a Biden. That's what we'll call that from now on. We'll call that pulling a Biden. I pulled a Biden. Sorry. No. I do expect to see more of this. Also, like the article said, there's been a hold on the employer mandate. We'll see where this goes. As I've said all along, stand firm. Stand firm. There's no reason to back up or back down here. So I thought that was important. Now you also know that there's an ongoing battle between the National Guard in Oklahoma and the Pentagon. The Pentagon has made a response to their exemption request, as you see the headlines say here. And this says U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has rejected a bid from the Oklahoma National Guard that would give its members the freedom to not get vaccinated against COVID-19, with the Pentagon ruling vaccination to be mandatory. In a letter on Monday, Austin formally rejected Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt's request that the state's National Guard be exempt from the Pentagon's COVID-19 military vaccine mandate. Pardon me. Austin also threatened action against unvaccinated members of the Oklahoma's National Guard, warning that refusal to get vaccinated may lead to a prohibition on the members' participation in drills and training and could jeopardize the members' status in the National Guard. Though Governor Stitt expressed concern that the vaccine mandate could result in an understaffed National Guard, which would be less able to respond to state security threats and weather emergencies, Austin argued that such concerns did not negate the need for this important military readiness requirement. The governor had requested an exemption in a letter earlier this month, claiming that the irresponsible vaccine mandate violates the personal freedoms of many Oklahomans, as it asks them to potentially sacrifice their personal beliefs in order to not lose their jobs. Oklahoma's National Guard and Pentagon have been engaged in a standoff since the Guard's 45th Infantry Brigade Commander, Brigadier General Thomas Mancino, told his soldiers earlier this month that no negative administrative or legal action would be taken if they refused vaccination. The state's National Guard argued that the Pentagon's mandate only applied to federal soldiers, not state. However, the Pentagon has repeatedly threatened disciplinary action for all National Guard members who refuse to comply, calling it a lawful order and citing the Guard's federal funding. You see, that is why you do not have, because here's the thing, right? The Constitution, about militia. So what they thought that their little slick deal would be to impose the National Guard and consider that our militia, right? But you and I both know that the National Guard is just as much, quote-unquote, our militia as what the military's F-15s and nukes are at our disposal, right? It's about the same. So considering it's not really our militia to begin with, there's a second part of this that's even more important. You never, ever, as a militia, accept federal funds. That's probably not. It's probably not a good idea to have to, survive, basically, function on federal funds if you're a state military or a regional or anything like that. I just find that interesting. But so we'll see. I don't think that Oklahoma's going to back down on this. I really do not see them backing down on this. I see them standing firm, and we'll have to keep an eye on what happens. Let me have a drink here, and we'll move on a little ways off across the pond. Okay. So here in Austria, it says harsh penalties mold for those resisting compulsory vaccination in Austria, says reports. What? Let's see. People repeatedly snubbing COVID-19 vaccination summons in Austria after immunization becomes compulsory there might face fines of up to $8,100 or several weeks behind bars, according to a draft that was leaked to the media. Are you listening to this? Those resisting vaccination in Austria might soon face stiff punishments, according to a leaked draft of the so-called COVID-19 Vaccination Protection Act seen by the Austrian Die Presse Daily. If passed, the legislation, which is set to take effect in February, would apply to both the Alpine nation's citizens and its permanent residents. Under the bill, anyone who refused to attend a scheduled vaccination appointment would receive an official summons from local authorities. If an individual failed to show up, they would then be summoned one more time within the next 4 weeks. Should the second official request be ignored as well, the person would face a fine of £3,600, which is, I guess, equivalent to $4,061, or 4 weeks in prison. The fine would increase to £7,200 or $8,000 for those who have already been fined twice for violating the vaccination requirement. Exceptions are only allowed for those who cannot get the jab due to a danger to life or health, as well as pregnant women and children up to the age of 12. Pregnant children up to the age of 12? The bill, I'm joking. The bill further says that booster shots would be compulsory. The health ministry is tasked with regulating intervals between vaccinations and possible vaccine combinations, according to the draft. So as you can tell, they're going full on crazy over there in Austria. So as you know, Australia is not far from that, and I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that there is absolutely no possibility of something like that happening here. I can't say that. I absolutely cannot say that. Let me have a sip again. All right. Okay, now we're going to switch gears just a little bit here. Russia, and there's a lot of stuff going on in a short amount of time, really. Russia announces successful test of hypersonic missile. This is another test. As it says here, a Russian warship has carried out a test fire of a state-of-the-art missile capable of flying many times faster than the speed of sound as part of exercises off the Arctic Ocean. Russian military bosses confirmed on Monday. In a statement, Moscow's Ministry of Defense said that the Zircon missile was launched from the Admiral Gorshkov frigate from a position in the White Sea and successfully struck a naval target more than 400 kilometers away. According to the announcement, surface ships and naval aircraft from the Northern Fleet helped to close off the region for security of the launch. The test comes just 2 weeks after another demonstration of the Zircon's capabilities, which officials said was also successful. The most recent test apparently means the missile has completed its current round of trials. Test firing of the Zircon Shouldn't have read that part. The Zircon hypersonic cruise missile is designed to provide superiority at sea and can reach a speed of Mach 9, 9 times the speed of sound, or 10,000 kilometers per hour. According to naval officials, one of their top priorities is ensuring that they will be able to take out the enemy aircraft carrier strike groups in case of an all-out conflict. There had been a concern that available missiles did not have the range to attack enemy carriers without being intercepted. The Zircon missile's speed, combined with a reduced radar cross-section, will theoretically enable the missile to reach targeted aircraft carriers without a chance for defense or retaliation. It's also meant to be able to intercept enemy supersonic missiles. Russian President Vladimir Putin confirmed earlier this month that the missiles are nearing completion and will be delivered to the Navy starting in 2022. To be honest, I think they're already outfitted. Now it is especially important to develop and implement the technologies necessary to create hypersonic weapon systems, high-powered lasers, and robotic systems that will be able to effectively counter potential military threats, which means they will further strengthen the security of our country, he said in a televised remark. Pardon me. So, yeah, I think that they're already outfitted. I think they're ready to go with them. I mean, I have no doubt that the Zircon missile is not the extent of their military technology. That is the extent of what they will let be known. Big difference there. So anyway, a couple of other pretty concerning articles dealing with the tensions there. NATO threatens Russia with consequences. This here says the head of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, has hit Russia with a stark warning against exerting force on neighboring Ukraine amid a series of unsubstantiated Western-driven claims that Moscow is massing troops at their shared border. Speaking at a press conference on Sunday in Lithuania to discuss the humanitarian crisis unfolding on the EU's frontier with Belarus, the U.S.-led bloc Secretary General took the opportunity to call on the Kremlin to be transparent, reduce tensions, and de-escalate the situation on the demarcation line with Ukraine. Answering a question from a journalist, and the NATO chief said that the alleged increased Russian presence close to Ukraine's borders is something which is very concerning for many reasons, calling it unprovoked and unexplained. We also send the message to Moscow that if they decide to use force, then of course there will be consequences, and we have demonstrated our will and our capability to impose cost and consequences on Russia before, referring to financial sanctions imposed following Russia's reabsorption of Crimea in 2014. So, I believe that this was in response to that, which, let me see here. Yeah, I think this article came out after, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, this one here says Russia warns it won't back down in NATO standoff, because you heard Jens Stoltenberg speak. Now here's an article saying this: Russia won't back down in its standoff with NATO over Ukraine or in the Black Sea, and underestimating the country's resolve could be disastrous, Moscow's top diplomat in Washington has blasted amid worsening ties with the U.S. Speaking in an interview on Saturday with the SoloView live YouTube channel, Ambassador Anatoly Antonov said that there are suggestions expressed here that some desperate head may appear in Ukraine or a group of fighters who will try to test the strength of the Russian defense, counting on the fact that we will not respond. I would like to say and emphasize unequivocally, this is a very dangerous delusion. The envoy blasted a purported increase in supplies of American weapons reaching Kiev, potentially including the anti-tank missile system Javelin. The ambassador said that Washington consistently claims that these weapons are for defensive purposes. Antonov's remarks come shortly after NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told CNN that the bloc had tripled the size of its resource force and upped its presence in both the Black and Baltic Seas to counter a Russian presence. A U.S. Navy-guided missile destroyer, the Arleigh Burke, was deployed to the Black Sea last week shortly after two other American warships were spotted in the same waters. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov also expressed concern some days ago over the alleged use of U.S.-made rockets by Ukrainian forces fighting separatists in the east of the country, which he said could lead to full-blown provocations. Earlier this month, Antonov warned that providing lethal arms to Ukraine could scupper any hopes for peace in the war-torn Donbass region, and that plans to supply weapons to the regime in Kiev will only worsen the situation in southeastern Ukraine. Tensions between NATO and Russia have flared up again recently. Earlier in November, Moscow's Deputy Foreign Minister Alexander Khrushchev warned that Stoltenberg's plans to shuttle American nuclear warheads around Eastern European nations endangered existing peace accords between the two parties. The bloc's chief claimed the move was necessary due to alleged threats posed by Moscow's aggressive actions. So, again, this is heating up to a pretty critical level, really. And it's just something we need to keep a really, really close eye on. Something that we need to keep ready to go, keep prepared. Again, as I've said a number of times, and I'll repeat again, if we have a major conflict, it's not going to be something that is kept overseas. It will come to our homeland this time around. I guarantee that. I'm not saying it will only be here. I won't say that the main war will even be here. But I guarantee you, we won't walk away unscathed. There's a lot of difference in technology today, and it's a lot easier for other countries to reach out and touch someone, if you know what I mean, including us. And with the technological advancements of things like hypersonic, missiles, that's going to be a tough thing to overcome. So I don't think it's real wise just to puff chests out and say, oh, we can beat them, because I'm not saying that there's, no chance we could survive, or, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that no matter what, we would take a hell of a hit, and I personally don't want to see that. I think militarily we would take, oh my gosh, we would take a massive hit. And I think we would take a pretty good hit here on our homeland as well. I think we would be beaten up pretty good. No matter how, it ended or what the end results would be, it wouldn't be pretty. And so that's why I keep telling people, make sure you're ready. Because regardless of what your main concern is with the times right now, there are so many things that are off balance, and it seems like at any moment could give away. And so that's why I always reiterate, it's important to always be ready to go. Let me have a sip of coffee here. Try not to rip my headphones off. I'm telling you. Have me a couple of vapes, and I got some headlines for you, and get the heck out of here. I was so excited to see that heater fire up as quick as it did today. That was awesome. I figured it was going to take a little longer than that to kick off, but no, I must have primed it just the right amount. Didn't flood it. It didn't smoke at all, so I didn't flood it apparently, and ran like a top. So, let's see. Can't think of anything else I wanted to really mention. Although I'm sure there's probably 20 or 30 things throughout the day. I thought I might want to say that tonight on the show. I don't write it down. I went to the Joe Biden School of Remembrance. I don't even try. Alright. It's switched over here. I do have one headline from last night. Woman sets COVID quarantine hotel on fire. I wanted to make sure to include that headline for some reason. I don't know why. It happened in Queensland, Australia. So again, the headline there in Queensland, Australia is a woman sets COVID quarantine hotel on fire. Or as Beavis would say, fire, fire, fire. COVID positive Czech president appoints PM from inside big glass box. GoFundMe pulls plug on $5 million bail campaign. So I spoke about this yesterday, I think it was. So what had happened was there was a $5 million GoFundMe for this guy's bail. Daryl Brooks, I believe is his name. And so anyway, they GoFundMe canceled the fundraiser because of what it is. And so apparently one of the Black Lives Matter chapters started another fundraiser, but just more or less stated it was for a bail organization, and it was for the magic price of $5 million. And so GoFundMe apparently was wise enough to figure it out, and they pulled that campaign as well. So hopefully that keeps happening, and that's ridiculous. Taliban's war on drugs put into action. Omicron variant poses very high global risk, says the WHO. I don't think I had that one in the... countries close borders to foreigners amid Omicron fears. Oil price recovering after year's worst collapse. U.S. trying to force Russia out of EU gas market, says Serbia. COVID could cost global tourism $1 trillion. Lynch mob out for accused blasphemer torches police station. Yikes. Ex-defense secretary sues Pentagon over censorship. Maduro denounces EU spies and enemies. Kremlin outlines who it believes is behind hysteria around possible Ukraine invasion. Queen ousted as Barbados decolonizes. Bitcoin surges as crypto rebounds from sell-off. Omicron outbreak confirmed in Scotland. Mass murderer Breivik sent letters to survivors and their relatives. Let's see. Oh, guess what Merriam-Webster picks as the word of the year? I don't know if you have heard this or not. Last year, the word of the year was pandemic. This year, the word of the year is vaccine. How lovely. Prince Charles comments on rumors he questioned future grandchildren's skin color. Ukrainian celebrity throws raunchy party on Soviet Famine Remembrance Day. Top Democrats' 2024 presidential election list revealed if Biden doesn't run. And it includes Kamala and Michelle. Just saying. Germany comments on Nord Stream 2 delays. China takes Ukraine to the Hague Court. Zelensky to allow foreign armies on Ukrainian soil. Did that one. FBI accused of acting as Biden's Gestapo. Nuremberg takes heat over ex-Nazi sites. Ukraine demands Germany pay up for World War II damage. Biden's blunder could send oil prices to $100. Pub guest got trapped for 3 days and liked it. That's not news. That's the new normal. Government U-turns on controversial law that sparked massive rallies. Maybe for them it might be the new normal. 13 Omicron cases suspected at football team with South African player. Sounds kind of racist, doesn't it? EU winning hybrid war, says Brussels. Hunter Biden gifted $80,000 diamond in shady Chinese deals, says a book. Gazprom reports record profits after price surge. Imagine that. Sweden's first ever woman PM voted back in days after resigning. Trump challenges fake news media to public debate. A machine gun fire turns upscale Chicago neighborhood into war zone. A new Omicron COVID-19 variant could be less deadly than feared, a top Russian scientist claims. And they're saying that it could be less deadly but much more infectious. So we'll see. Twitter's Jack Dorsey to step down, a report claims. Plan to battle future pandemics in the making by WHO members. BioNTech works on its answer to new COVID variant. Jack Dorsey steps down as Twitter CEO. 4 killed and 19 injured as massive storm batters Istanbul. Let's see. World will never eradicate COVID, says Fauci. UK names age groups eligible for COVID boosters amid Omicron scare. Lifts sanctions or no return to nuclear deal, Iran says. Covered that one. Jury selected in Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Hometown bans COVID unvaxxed from Santa's grotto. Fauci blasting dangerous criticism sets off Rand Paul. Students demand Murder Rittenhouse be banned from campus. People are out of their minds. Schools close as toxic smoke cloud swirls over Santiago. Covered that one. Biden revealed... talked about that. Psaki rejects talks of federal vaccine deadline extension. Covered that. South African doctor who discovered Omicron describes the symptoms. And interestingly enough, one of the very, very common symptoms in this, and in fact it was probably the biggest thing that I was watching for and continue to watch for, is the loss of taste or smell, right? And so far, from what this article says, that is not one of the side effects of the Omicron variant. They are saying at this point, from their observations, that their patients do not lose their taste and smell. So that's interesting. A concerned DOJ tries to ban Bannon from disclosing January 6 documents. Ghislaine Maxwell defense invokes Adam and Eve story as her trial opens. Harsh penalties mold for... read that one. Supreme Court asked to overturn ruling that freed Bill Cosby. Let's see. Reintroduced COVID-19 spying challenged in court. This is in Israel. It jumped on me. Covered that one. Another U.S. mayor presses to undo police defunding. And first living robots can now spontaneously self-replicate, scientists say. Let me repeat that, because that came out as I was getting ready to read the headlines to you, and I just put it out 12 minutes ago. First living robots can now spontaneously self-replicate, scientists say. I hope that makes you feel warm and fuzzy, because it sure doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy. Anyway, I am going to scoot out of here for the evening. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again. I really feel like we're going to be in for another crazy day. And like I said, I think it's going to continue. I don't think it's going to let up. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is what it is. I always promise to be honest with you, not to cherry coat things, and we got a hell of a road ahead. So please, please keep getting ready. Do everything you possibly can to mitigate as many different threats as you possibly can. Anyway, I am out of here. I hope you all have a good evening. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.